Hello, dear DSC candidates. Welcome back to my Grammar for Success channel. I'm Koresh Babu, a retired lecturer in English from Hyderabad. In today's video, I'm going to explain all about the language-related disorders of Part 1. I request all of you to pay a very good attention to this very important video till the end without skipping it in the middle. I also request all of you to consider subscribing to my channel and also sharing this video with all your friends who are also going to take the DSC examination along with you. Thank you so much. Now let's get into the video. Language related disorders or disabilities. Disorders means disabilities. What are the language related disorders? Let us have a look at them. Right. And here you pay attention. Language related disorders encompass means include or comprise what? A wide range of conditions. A wide range of condition means an extensive variety of conditions. Conditions means again illnesses or ailments or disorders. Again the same thing it means. So the language related disorders include a wide range of disorders that affect a person's ability. What do? They affect means they show some effect or they disturb, they upset. So they show some effect on the person's ability to understand. That's the first thing. To understand what? The language, okay, and ability to speak. To speak what? The language. To use what? The language. So these language related disorders show a serious effect on the ability to understand, to speak, or to use the language effectively or efficiently or successfully. So we are going to learn about these language related disorders in this video, and there are so many language related disorders, and these disorders will affect what? The ability to understand the language, the ability to speak the language, the ability to use the language effectively and efficiently. Okay, and you go to the next important point. These disabilities or disorders can severely impact language skills. Severely means very harshly or very cruelly. Impact means what? Influence what? Language skills. You know very well about the language skills. What are the language skills? Listening, speaking, reading, writing. LSRW. These are called language skills, and these disorders will severely impact these language skills. They show a severe effect on the language skills. Okay, and you go to the next important point. They may stem from neurological, cognitive, developmental, psychological, motor, sensory issues. So this is a very important aspect. All these disabilities or disorders will stem from means originate from or emerge from where? Neurological issues. Neurological means pertaining to nerves. So therefore you can call it nervous also, you can say. Nervous means pertaining to nerves. నరములకు సంబంధించినటువంటి. So here neurological issues. Cognitive means pertaining to the mind or mental. Developmental means age related or age linked developmental. And psychological means again mental. So pertaining to the psychology of man. That means in other words mental. And motor means what? Motor skills are there. So motor skills are nothing but the skills that pertain to the muscles, that pertain to the hands, fingers, wrists. I am going to talk to you about these motor skills separately. Then you can understand about the motor skills very clearly and elaborately. And here sensory are there. Sensory means what? Pertaining to the senses. You know very well we have 5 senses. Okay, so seeing, okay, hearing, smelling, tasting, feeling. These 5 are called 5 senses, and sensory means pertaining to the senses. Senses ku sambandhinchina. So in this way, all these disabilities, all these disorders will emerge from or originate from neurological, cognitive, developmental, psychological, motor, sensory issues. Issues means problems. These disabilities will come out from these issues or these problems. So that is the main point, and you go to the next important point. Below are given the key types of disabilities that can affect language skills. So I am going to now give you some key types of disabilities. okay, that are affecting the people or the kids or the children all over the world now. Okay, I am going to talk to you about them and these language related disorders. This topic is very very important for you for your DSC examination, because once or twice some questions are given from this particular topic, and that's why I wanted to give you some idea about these language related disorders and disabilities. So that's why I am making this video exclusively for your sake. Okay, please watch this video till the end without skipping. Okay, and now I am going to take up the language related disorders one by one. Okay, now let's move on to the next slide. Dyspraxia. This is the first language related disorder, and let us learn about this disorder in brief. Okay, and here you pay attention. It is also known as developmental coordination disorder. So this dyspraxia is also known as by this name. What is this? Developmental coordination disorder. In short, we can say DCD. Okay, developmental means age related or age linked. Coordination means synchronization or organization. Okay, keeping the things in a line. Okay, so in an order, keeping the things in a line or in an order, something like that. Coordination disorder. So we are going to learn about this developmental coordination disorder briefly. Dyspraxia affects. Okay, it shows its effect where on the coordinated movements. Coordinated means organized movements or synchronized movements or the movements that are made in an order. ఒక క్రమ పద్ధతిలో చేయబడే కదలికలు. సో దే ఆర్ కాల్డ్ కోఆర్డినేటెడ్ మూమెంట్స్ అండ్ ఫైన్ మోటార్ స్కిల్స్. అండ్ just now I have told you that I am going to talk to you very elaborately about these fine motor skills. So these fine motor skills refer to the ability of the movement of the muscles that you can find in the hands, in the fingers, in the wrists, etc. So those you can say skills are called fine motor skills. So immediately on the next slide I am going to talk to you about these motor skills very clearly, then you can understand more about the fine motor skills. Okay, this dyspraxia, this disorder affects what? Coordinated movements and fine motor skills. When this dyspraxia affects these two things, what happens then? Making it difficult for the children, because it is a disorder that affects mostly the children, and that's why when the children are afflicted by this dyspraxia, what happens? It makes it difficult for the children to control the muscles needed for writing. The children cannot write, they cannot hold the pen, and they cannot write anything on the board or on the piece of paper and so on. So they cannot control the muscles that are in the hands, that are in the fingers, that are in the wrist. So they cannot control the muscles needed for writing. For writing, what muscles are needed? Fingers are needed, hand is needed, wrist is needed. So these are the three things that are needed for writing. So these children find it very difficult to control these muscles needed for writing. And next, it is associated with a neurodevelopmental condition in children. So this is exclusively a children disorder. That means, this disorder can be found very frequently among the little kids, little children. And here it is associated with what? Neurodevelopmental. Neuro means nervous or pertaining to nerves. Developmental means age related. Condition means disorder. Now you take the meaning of this: age related nervous disorder. That's the meaning. Age related nervous disorder that you can find in children. So therefore this disease is called dyspraxia. Dyspraxia can be found mostly among the children. That affects the children. They find it very difficult to bring the muscles of the hands and the fingers for writing things on a piece of paper. Okay, that difficulty they will face. Okay, this is the disorder called dyspraxia. And you go to the next thing, symptoms. What are the symptoms of this dyspraxia? Individuals or children suffering from this disorder, individuals suffering from this disorder, very well, generally the children will be suffering from this disorder. So let me say, children suffering from this disorder will have what? So trouble with balancing muscles. So they will have trouble in balancing the muscles. That means in holding the pen, in holding the pencil. in holding the book, in holding the slate, whatever it may be, that whenever they want to write something, okay, they cannot write. They find it very difficult. They cannot bring the muscles of the hands and the fingers together. They cannot control these hands and fingers. So that will be a big problem for the little kids. Okay, and here next one, poor pencil grip. So they will have a poor pencil grip. They don't hold the pencil very tightly, but they hold it very loosely like this, and they say like that might drop down at any time. So that's why they will have poor pencil grip. So this is one of the symptoms of this disorder. And next, what happens? Inconsistent letter size and formation, and they will be writing the things inconsistently. For example, they say, for example, A, B, like this, C, D, something, one small, one big, something like inconsistently, unevenly, హెచ్చు తగ్గులుగా, irregularly. So they will be writing, the size of the letters will be sometimes big, sometimes small. This thing you might have seen in your children, in your class. Some letters will be small, some letters will be big, some letters will be small. So like that, they will be writing. That means, inconsistent letter size and formation, right? And then another symptom of this dyspraxia is slow writing speed. So they will be writing very slowly. They cannot write very fast. So this is yet another important symptom of this dyspraxia. You go to the next important thing, trouble with hand-eye coordination. Hand-eye coordination means, the children suffering from this dyspraxia don't have hand and eye. This coordination will not be there. Synchronization will not be there. Or organization, in line, in order. So this thing will not be there. So they will be, their hand is moving here, their eye will be here. So eye contact and eye and hand, both of them do not coordinate with each other. They do not coordinate with each other, and that's why they will be writing so elsewhere on the piece of paper. Notebook lo ekkadekade edo rasteస్తుంటారు, because they find it very difficult to have the hand and eye coordination. They'll be writing the letters inconsistently. So they have poor pencil grip. They don't have balance of muscles in the hands and fingers. So all such problems the children suffering from this dyspraxia will be facing. So this is all about dyspraxia. So please, if you find these symptoms in your children, that means in the class, in your children, then you must say they are suffering from this dyspraxia. So it's very important from your examination point of view. Sometime back, this was given in the examination. Some question was framed on this disorder. Okay. Now we move on to learn about the fine motor skills. Okay. Fine motor skills. I'm going to give you some information about the fine motor skills. Please pay a very good attention to this. I think nobody will teach you all these things outside. Okay, right. And here you pay attention. These skills refer to the ability to make precise movements. They talk about the ability to make precise movements of what? The muscles, the small muscles that you find in hands, that you find in fingers, that you find in wrists. The precise movements, the precise means the exact movements of these muscles of the body are called motor skills. These skills are essential for performing tasks that require hand-eye coordination and intricate control. So these skills, these fine motor skills that make use of the muscles of the hands, muscles of the fingers, muscles of the wrists, what do? They are very essential for performing tasks that require hand-eye coordination. So they are very, very important for performing such tasks that require hand-eye coordination and intricate control, very complicated control. Okay, and now you go to the next point, examples of fine motor skills. What are the fine motor skills? Daily activities. Buttoning a shirt. When you button your shirt, what do? You bring your fingers together. You bring your hands together, take the help of the fingers, and you start buttoning your shirt. Okay, so for buttoning a shirt, we require these motor skills. Okay, tying shoelaces. You tie your shoelaces. Okay, and brushing teeth. When you are brushing your teeth, what do? You make use of your hand and you make use of your fingers. You start doing like this. So these fingers will be moving, the wrist will be moving, the hand will be moving. Here, all these activities, you can find the precise movements of the fingers, precise movements of the hands, and also wrist. So therefore, they are called fine motor skills. And here, using utensils while eating. While eating also, you will be making use of a spoon, okay, and you'll be fork and other utensils or other you can say devices you make use of while eating your food and all that. And next, for daily activities we use these motor skills. And writing and drawing. For writing and drawing also we require these motor skills. Holding and using a pencil. You hold a pencil, you use a pencil, okay. Typing on a keyboard, you type on a keyboard. While typing on a keyboard, what happens? Your fingers will be moving here and there. For these writing and drawing, for daily activities, we need motor skills. And next, manipulative skills. What are the manipulative skills? Picking up small objects like beads. So beads are there, some small round beads, some marbles like things are there. They are called beads, some round balls. So picking up all of them from the ground. So for that, that called manipulative skills. Using scissors to cut paper. How do you cut the paper? You make use of the scissors, okay. You just say like that. You put your finger into the bigger hole and you put your three fingers into the smaller hole and you start saying like this, So when you move your hand, what happens? It will be cutting the paper. You know that very well. And here, using scissors to cut paper. And recreational activities also. So playing a musical instrument, piano is there, or guitar is there, okay, or keyboard is there. On that, your fingers will be moving here and there, okay. Sewing or knitting. For on the sewing machine also, what will you be doing? Making use of your fingers, okay, to move the cloth, okay, to move the cloth while stitching, okay. And then knitting. For knitting also, long needles will be there, so knitting a sweater. So here, for all these activities, we require fine motor skills. Fine motor skills means the use of small muscles of the hands, fingers and wrists for the specific movements. Therefore, they are all called fine motor skills. The name itself is given like that. Fine motor skills. Okay, right. This is all about the fine motor skills. Now you can look at this slide, and all the information about the fine motor skills is given on one slide. And now you move on to other important language related disorders. Okay. Second one, dysgraphia. Okay, this is at another important language related disorder or disability. And what is this dysgraphia? Dysgraphia is also a neurological disorder. So it is a neurological disorder. That means it pertains to the nervous disorder. It pertains to the nervous system. నరములకు సంబంధించినటువంటి ఒక డిజార్డర్ ఇది. సో దేర్ ఫోర్ దిస్ డిస్గ్రాఫియా ఈజ్ ఆల్సో ఏ న్యూరలాజికల్ డిజార్డర్, జస్ట్ లైక్ ద డిస్ప్రాక్సియా. అండ్ నెక్స్ట్, దట్ అఫెక్ట్స్ వాట్? రైటింగ్ ఎబిలిటీస్ ఆఫ్ ద చిల్డ్రన్. It affects the writing abilities of the people. What are the writing abilities? Handwriting, spelling, organizing thoughts on paper. So it affects mainly what? The writing abilities of the sufferers. What are the writing abilities? Handwriting, spelling, organizing thoughts on paper. All these are the writing abilities. So this dysgraphia will affect severely the writing abilities of the sufferers. Okay, and here you pay attention. Some symptoms are given here. Very easy, very interesting. You can just pay attention to all of them. You can also read it and understand it. The things are given in a simple, easy and understandable way, right? Individuals suffering from this disorder, okay, people suffering from this disorder will have what? Poor or inconsistent handwriting. So people suffering from dysgraphia will have inconsistent handwriting. Inconsistent means uneven, ups and downs, irregular handwriting. So they will have this side, so like that book, book like this, books are books are very heavy. So some in a zigzag way, in an irregular way, in an uneven way. Inconsistent handwriting, illegible handwriting. Illegible means unable to read. The writing that you cannot read, they will have illegible writing. పిచ్చి పిచ్చి రాత ఉంటుంది, చదవలేము అసలు. సో illegible writing they will have. And next, difficulty in forming letters and shapes. So they will be unable to write the letters also, letters properly. Yes is there, so something like that. B means, they will say B like this. K means, okay, something like this. So they cannot write the letters in the proper shape, in the proper form. They find it very difficult. Okay, B means, they say B like this, so I am here writing something like that, W is there, something like that, W. So some, see how this W, so like this, some irregular form they will be writing. Okay, so that's why they find difficulty in writing the letters in a proper shape or something like that. So this difficulty also they will have. Okay, and you go to the next one. So mixing uppercase and lowercase letters. Uppercase means capital letters, lowercase means small letters. So some students will mix up uppercase and lowercase letters in a single word. For example, R is there, R, E, A, D. So this is called the read. So uppercase letters are there, lowercase letters are there. So uppercase and lowercase letters are used in the same word. The sufferers of this will be having this kind of problem also. This next problem the sufferers face is trouble with spelling and punctuation. You see, many people will be suffering from spelling and punctuation. So they don't know how to write the correct spelling of the words, and they also don't know how to make use of the punctuation marks correctly and all that. They find it very difficult to give the correct spelling of that. So for example, while I was valuing the answer papers of the intermediate students, I used to come across the word like this, said. So what is the spelling of said? SEID, said. But most of the students used to write like this. So SED said, they say. See, because instead of writing SEID, they are writing this spelling. Of course, for difficult words, it might be difficult for you to give the spelling, but even for the small words and simple words also, some people find it very difficult to write the correct spelling. So that problem is there. And punctuation means, where to put the full stop, where to put the comma, where to put the semicolon, colon, question mark, exclamatory mark, all such marks. So the sufferers of this will find problems with spelling and punctuation. Okay, and next, difficulty with spacing between the words. So this is also a problem that the sufferers of this face. What is that? Spacing between words. So some people will be writing all the words in a word. I am going to, no space at all, going to college. See, what is this? No gap at all. I am, my teacher used it to make us put the finger like this. I, after that, put the finger like this. Yes. Next one. Okay. Going, put the finger, to put the finger, college. So when we were writing all the words together, our teachers in my childhood, used to make us keep the finger in between the words. So I, after that you must put the finger. Right, am, after that put the finger. So a finger space must be left between the words. So then your handwriting looks so nice and all that. But here the sufferers of this will write all the words at one place, just like it is a single word. So it's a meaningless thing. Okay, that kind of problem the sufferers will be facing. And the next problem is difficulty with grammar. So the sufferers of this disorder will be suffering from grammar usage. Okay, and they don't know how to use the grammar correctly. For example, instead of saying I am, okay, going to college, okay, they might say I is going college. Something, this is ungrammatical. I is going to college or I going to college. It is ungrammatical. So the sufferers of this disorder will find it difficult with the correct use of grammar, and next, struggles to express thoughts in writing. So, and the sufferers of this disorder will find it very difficult to express their thoughts in a proper way in writing. So all these are the symptoms of this dysgraphia. Whoever has these issues, okay, think that person is suffering from dysgraphia. Okay, this is all about dysgraphia from your DSC examination point of view. This disorder is also Very important. Keep all these symptoms in your mind. Okay, right. Now you move on to learn about the next important disorder. Third one, dyslexia. Dyslexia. Okay, this is yet another very important language related disorder. What is this dyslexia? Here you pay attention. Dyslexia is a learning difficulty. So it is a disorder that affects learning. Therefore, it is called a learning difficulty that primarily affects reading and language related skills. So, it primarily affects reading, and it also affects language related skills, whatever may be the language related skills, reading, writing, spell, all such many reading skills will be there. So, here, especially this dyslexia affects the skill of reading. It affects the reading and also language related skills. Okay, and here people with dyslexia often have difficulty connecting letters to sounds, and the sufferers of this disorder will have what is difficulty in connecting letters to sounds. Letters to sounds means, for example, could is there. This could is there. Okay, simple example I am giving here. So this is the sound. To this sound could, they cannot give the correct word. They simply say cud. Could. Similarly, said is there. To this sound they simply say said. Okay, coffee is there. Coffee. Coffee. So they might write in any way like this. So here they find it very difficult in connecting letters to the sounds. So these are the sounds and they give the letters to them. That means, they give the spelling to those words like that. It's a could. Could means what is the sound? Could, ka, ko, ko. Key, could, key, seed, could. So said, what is that? Yes, CD said. Okay, coffee, ka, k, ka, fee, f, I, fee. So they will be giving, they find it very difficult in connecting letters to sounds. So this kind of difficulty the sufferers of this disorder will have. And you go to the symptoms of this disorder. Individuals suffering from this disorder, let me tell you one important thing. Boman Irani, very well. Okay, Boman Irani. This is the main actor in the movie Three Idiots of Hindi version. He says he suffered from this dyslexia up to 8th class. And afterwards, he had taken some treatment and all that. Now you go to the symptoms of this disorder. First symptom you can find with the sufferers of this disorder is problem of reversing letters or numbers. That means writing B instead of D. So many students, so many children will commit that kind of mistake. They say simply, B. They like this. B. So D means again they say when they want to write D, they say write. When they want to write this B, D, they write like this. So they get confused with this D and B. Sometimes they write with a K like this. K. Reverse. Numbers. 3, 4. What is that? 4, 5. Instead of writing like this, they say they write like this. Something like this. We are not able to write the reverse numbers and reverse letters, but those people suffering from this dyslexia will write all reverse numbers and reverse letters. So that is one of the symptoms. And you go to the next one, trouble in recognizing words. So they find it very difficult in recognizing words. Okay, in recognizing words means in reading the words. Okay, for example, psychology is there. Psychology is there. So they find it very difficult in reading that psychology. Not only this big word, there are so many words. Even the simple words also they find it very difficult to read out, and that's why it is a disorder that affects mainly the reading. Okay, and they find trouble in recognizing words, and next they also find trouble in spelling issues. They will have spelling issues and poor spelling. Spelling issues will be there. Could, COUD, could, spelling issue. Said, SEID said, but they write SED said, spelling mistake. Okay, most of the people will be writing spelling mistakes, so full of spelling mistakes. So I used to while valuing the answer papers of the intermediate students, I used to come across so many spelling mistakes, and at last, I myself used to get you can say confused whether I am right or they are right. So that used to take place for me, so because that's why, if you keep on looking at wrong spelling, ultimately you will also very likely to write only wrong spelling. This is all about the problems of the sufferers of this dyslexia disorder. So they will be having spelling issues or poor spelling, and next slow reading speed, and they will have slow reading pace, okay, speed. Okay, they will have a slow reading habit, and they cannot read very fast. Okay, right. And very simple, very easy. And next, difficulty in organizing thoughts into a written form. So they find it very difficult in organizing thoughts into a written form. They cannot keep all their thoughts and feelings and ideas in a systematic way on a piece of paper. So they find it very difficult. So these are there. One more symptom is there: problems with the grammar and sentence structures, and they find problem with the grammar and sentence structures also. So these are all the symptoms, these are all the problems the sufferers of this dyslexia disorder will be facing or experiencing in their life. Okay, and this is all about dyslexia. And now you move on to the next important disorder: specific language impairment. This is called SLI. Okay, and what is the specific language impairment disorder? SLI affects the ability to understand and use the language, which can impact writing also. So this disorder will affect the ability. What kind of ability? To understand the language and to use the language. Okay, these are the two disadvantages with this disorder. This disorder will impact even the writing also. These are the three things. Okay, right. And next you go to the next one: symptoms. Individuals suffering from this disorder have, what do they have? Difficulty in forming or framing coherent sentences. So they find it very difficult in forming or framing coherent sentences, logical sentences, okay, rational sentences. For example, I going okay college, I going college. So it's not a coherent sentence, it's not a logical sentence. Or I can say I is going. So there is no coherence here, because I doesn't follow this is, the helping verb. It follows only am. But here I is going to college, something he has written, taken for granted. And then there is no coherence at all. Rationality is not there. Okay, reason is not there, coherence is not there. Okay, logical sequence is not there. So that's why now they find difficulty in forming or framing coherent sentences. This one symptom you can find with the people of this disorder. And the next, trouble with the vocabulary usage. And the people suffering from this disorder will have trouble with vocabulary usage. They cannot use the new vocabulary properly. Okay, they find it very difficult in using the vocabulary in an efficient way, in a meaningful way and all that. And here next, struggles with word order and grammar. So they find it very difficult in putting the words in an order, and I can say they also find some problems with the grammar. In this way, the sufferers of this disorder will face these three important problems, and these are only therefore called the symptoms of this disorder. Now you move on to learn about the next important language related disorder: executive function disorder. This is yet another important language related disorder, that is executive function disorder. Executive means administrative, function disorder. Okay, let us learn about it. What is about this executive function disorder? Affects executive function issues. Executive means administrative function diseases. So this disorder you can find with the people who are maintaining the administration, who is looking after the administration. okay, who is supervising the administration and all that. And these people will be facing the problems like planning, organizing, executing tasks, including writing and all that. So the people suffering from this disorder will have this kind of problems in their life. Okay. They will have the problem with planning. Okay, they will have planning with organizing the things and executing tasks. Okay, and writing, because this disorder affects the executive function issues. What are the executive function issues? Planning, organizing, executing tasks, including writing. Okay, and here what are the symptoms of this disorder? The individual suffering from this disorder will have what? Trouble in starting writing assignments. They find problem with writing assignments. They cannot write the assignments. Assignments means a specified task. So they find it very difficult in starting writing assignment. Next, difficulty in organizing thoughts logically. So they find it very difficult in organizing thoughts logically, in keeping the ideas in a logical manner or in a rational way, right? And next, inability to revise and edit effectively. So after writing some draft, they find it very difficult in revising that draft and editing that draft. So they cannot revise the draft, they cannot edit the draft, because once they write something, already they have written their thoughts in an illogical way, and after writing that matter, they don't revise it, they don't even edit that. So that they don't do it effectively. Okay, that is there. And next, problems of forgetting the purpose of goal of the writing. So sometimes the sufferers of this disorder will forget the very purpose of their writing that draft, okay, or the goal of that writing. So all such things you can find with this disorder. So this is the fifth one, and now we move on to learn about the next important one. Sixth one, attention deficit hyperactive disorder, ADHD. So this is some kind of disorder, right? And what does this disorder do with the language? Means ADHD can affect focus. Focus means concentration or attention. Okay, it will disturb your focus. It will disturb your attention. See, sometimes some students will be complaining that they are unable to concentrate on their studies. That means they are suffering from this ADHD, because this ADHD disorder will affect their concentration. They cannot concentrate on anything. They cannot focus on any, you can say, important thing. They cannot focus on studies. They cannot focus on attending the classes. Okay, they cannot focus on learning anything. So this ADHD, this disorder will affect what? The focus of the students or the individuals. It also affects what? Organization. So they cannot organize the things or synchronize the things. They cannot do the things in an order. Okay, consistency in writing, and they cannot write the things in a consistent manner, in a regular manner or an even manner. Okay, so that means they cannot write anything consistently. So these are the three problems the sufferers of this ADHD will face in their life. Okay, and next, symptoms. What are the symptoms of this disorder? Individuals suffering from this disorder will have what? Poor attention to details and leading to careless mistakes. So they don't pay good attention to even to small details. Generally, some people pay very good attention to bigger details, but they fail to pay good attention to smaller details, and that's why they will make afterwards some mistakes. Okay, that kind of disadvantage, that kind of danger is there. So pay a good attention even to the small details of something, then only you cannot make any mistakes. But here the people suffering from this ADHD will not pay any attention to smaller details, and therefore they make so many mistakes in their life. And then inconsistent writing style. So inconsistent means uneven writing style will be there. They will be writing the things unevenly or irregularly and all that. Inconsistent writing style will be there, and ups and down like that. So trouble in completing writing tasks on time. So they find it difficult in completing writing tasks on time. So they cannot do their homework on time. Okay, and they cannot submit their homework, or they cannot submit their writing tasks on time. So that disadvantage is also there with the people suffering from this disorder. And you go to the next one, difficulty in following writing prompts and guidelines. So here they cannot follow the writing prompts. Writing prompts means in the writing there will be here and there you can find some prompts, some kind of reminders. So they don't follow the writing prompts, and they also don't follow the guidelines. Guidelines means rules. So all such things you can find with the sufferers of this disorder. In this way, the sufferers of this ADHD will be having these symptoms. So whoever has these symptoms, then you must think that he or she is suffering from this ADHD. Okay, and now you move on to the next important language related disorder. Seventh one, autism spectrum disorder, ASD. Very important. Okay, autism spectrum disorder. What is this disorder? Okay, let us learn about it. Individuals with ASD may struggle with understanding abstract language and social cues in writing. So they find it very difficult in understanding abstract language and social cues in writing. Abstract language means the words and phrases that describe ideas, feelings and qualities. So such words and phrases, such a kind of language is called abstract language. For example, love is there. So love is what? Can you see that love? It's an abstract word, abstract thing which you cannot see. Freedom is there. Can you see that? Joy is there. Can you see that? Happiness is there. Can you see that? Poverty is there. Can you see that? You cannot see all these things. So the words and phrases that describe the ideas, feelings, qualities are called abstract words, and the language with those words is called abstract language. So here the people suffering from ASD find it very difficult in understanding abstract language, one point, and they also find social cues in writing. In writing you find some social cues. Social cues means some hints you can find here and there in the to help the readers to understand the given matter. Some clues are given. For example, so some social cues are means some tone is there. What is the tone of the passage? Is it friendly? Is it sarcastic? Is it frustrating? Is it formal? Is it informal? What is the tone of that? So this tone is what? It's a social cue. Okay, and here next politeness markers are there. Politeness markers are there. Politeness markers. Thank you. Okay, thank you. Please, may I? So such things are called social cues. Politeness markers. And style, dialogue style is there, whether it is formal or casual or informal. So here the people suffering from this ASD will find it very difficult in understanding the social cues in writing. They find it difficult in understanding the abstract language. They find it very difficult in understanding the social cues given in writing. So these two things they fail to understand. So that's the first thing. And you go to the symptoms of this ASD. The symptoms, individuals suffering from this disorder will have what? Difficulty with the literal interpretation of language. That means they find it very difficult in giving the literal interpretation of the language, in taking the literal meaning of that particular matter. Okay, that difficulty they will face. And here the next one is the difficulty in organizing thoughts. So they also find it very difficult in understanding, in organizing their thoughts in a systematic way, in a logical way. And another problem the sufferers of this disorder will have is problems with audience awareness. So they don't understand the audience with whom they are conversing. Okay, with whom they are speaking. According to the audience, you have to change your voice and you have to change your tone and all that. So that variation will not be there. So that means, while talking to the little children, the same tone; while talking to the elders, the same tone; while talking to the neighbors, the same tone. So while talking to all kinds of people, if you make use of the same tone, same variation, so that does not look nice. That means, you should speak according to the people with whom you are conversing, isn't it? When you are talking, when you are talking to the children, you must speak in a low voice and in a loving manner and all that. When you are talking to the elders, your way of style, your way of speech will be very polite and all that. So in this way, according to the people with whom you are conversing, the style, the diction, or the politeness, the tone and all such things must change. But here the people suffering from this ASD find problems with the audience awareness. They don't take care of the audience. They keep on talking whatever they like. Okay, so that kind of a disadvantage is there. So that is there. And here you pay attention, excessively rigid or repetitive writing style. So they make use of rigid language and also repetitive words. They make use of rigid language or strict language, one thing, and they also make repetitive words. Make use of repetitive words means using the words, phrases repeatedly. So that kind of repeated use of words and rigid use of words. So repetition of words can be found in their writings, in their speech and all that. So all these problems the people having this disease will suffer from. Okay, and this is all about autism spectrum disorder, ASD. Okay, and now you move on to the next important language related disorder. Eighth one, visual processing disorder. This is yet another important language related disorder. What is this disorder? Let us have a glance at it. Here you pay attention. This disorder affects means disturbs or damages what? The ability. What is that ability? Of the brain. It affects the ability of the brain in what? In interpreting visual information. So in interpreting, so after seeing some visual information, you must take some information. You must be able to interpret that. So when some picture is there on the board, you must look at the picture and you must take some meaning from that. So that kind of process is called interpretation or interpreting. So here the people suffering from this disorder cannot interpret what on seeing the visual information. They find it very difficult in interpreting what visual information, making writing very difficult. For them, the writing will become very difficult. So they will suffer from two things. Okay, interpreting visual information, and they suffer from writing difficulty. Okay, from these two difficulties they suffer from. Okay, and here you pay attention. Some symptoms are given for this disorder. Individuals suffering from this disorder have what? Difficulty in copying text from a board or book. So here the sufferers of this disorder will have the problem in copying text from the board or from the book. So some students find it very difficult in taking the matter that is written on the blackboard into their notebooks and all that. So this is called copying text from the board, copying text from the book. So the students or the people will be having this kind of problem if at all they are suffering from this kind of disorder, right? This is the first symptom, and the next symptom is trouble in aligning text on a page. So if at all there is a page, they cannot align the text on the page. That means, one line will be starting from here, another line will be starting from here, another line will be starting from here, and in a zigzag way. So it will not be aligned. Aligned means all the lines will not be in one line. So they find it very difficult in aligning the text on a page. Yes, that point is there. That problem they suffer from. And another problem the sufferers of this disorder will face is problems of recognizing letter shapes. So they find it very difficult in recognizing the letter shapes and letter patterns. What are the letter shapes? About the letter shapes and letter patterns, I would like to give you some idea here. So according to the shape of the letters can be divided into three groups. How? Let me give you one thing. So the first one is straight, okay, straight lined letters. straight lined letters. What is that? H is there, it's a straight line letter. T is there, it's a straight line letter. Okay, and I is there, it's a straight line letter. N is there, it's a straight line letter. Okay, it's a Z is there, straight lined letter. This side straight, this side straight, straight. So straight line letters, these are called. And the next one here is curved letters. Curved letters means, for example, C is there, it's a curved letter. O is there, it's a curved letter. S is there, it's a curved letter. So something like that. Okay, and next combination letters are there. Combination letters. Third one is combination letters. So you please keep all this additional information I am giving you here. Combination letters means what? D is there. Straight line is there. D. In D, straight line is there, and this curve is also there. Okay, and the next P is there. Straight line is there. That is there. And what is that? Q is there. Straight is there. Yeah. So in this way, there are three kinds of letter shapes. Okay, straight lined letters, curved letters, and combination letters. And letter patterns are also there. Letter patterns, you know very well. There are three kinds of letter patterns. For example, that go above the line. For example, B is there. This is a line, they go above the line. D is there above the line. Okay, K is there above the line. Okay, and L is there above the line. So in this way, these letters go above the line, and some letters are there, they stay on the line. How A, okay, C, and what is that? M, okay, N, O. All these letters are there, they are staying only on the line, and another type of pattern is there. What is that? They go down the letter. How? This is the line, and G, okay, and J, okay, and Y, okay. See, these are all going down. In this way, there are three kinds of letter patterns. Some letters go above the line, some letters stay on the line, some letters go down the line. So in this way, there are three patterns of letters, and in this way there are three shapes of letters also. Okay, straight lined letters, curved letters, and combination letters. People suffering from this disorder will find it very difficult in recognizing letter shapes and letter patterns. So that point is there. Now let us learn about the next important language related disorder. Ninth one, auditory processing disorder, APD. And what is this auditory processing disorder means? Here you pay attention. This is a disorder which affects, which disturbs, or which upsets what? The ability to process the sounds. Okay, it destroys the ability in you to process the sounds. That means it doesn't allow you to process the sound system. Okay, because if you listen to the sound in a wrong way, automatically you give the wrong spelling. Okay, showing impact on spelling. Okay, and also word formation. That means if you listen to the sound of the word in a wrong way, automatically you will give only the wrong spelling, and automatically the word formation will be wrong. So that danger is there. So that's why this disorder will affect what? The ability to process the sounds. Okay, and here you pay attention. Symptoms individuals suffering from this disorder have. What are the symptoms? Poor phonetic spelling. You know very well, phonetic spelling will be very poor. So we have two kinds of spelling. Traditional spelling. Okay, traditional spelling. Traditional spelling means regular spelling, which we write through the letters of the alphabet. Okay, for example, enough is there. Okay, example, enough is there. Okay, enough, right? This is the traditional spelling. And what is the phonetic spelling? Here you pay attention. Phonetic spelling is enough. This is the phonetic spelling. Enough, enough, enough. Similarly, through is there. Through. This is the word. This is the traditional spelling. Phonetic spelling is through. This is the phonetic spelling. So similarly, night is there. Night. The phonetic spelling is na, it. Night. This is that. And here ENNUI. What is this called? Anvi. See that? ANNUI. Anvi. Anvi means mental weariness. Okay, manasika alasata. How do you write it? Anvi. This is the phonetic spelling. So here the persons or the students or the children suffering from this disorder will have poor phonetic spelling. They cannot give the correct phonetic spelling. They might give the traditional spelling correctly, but they cannot give the phonetic spelling correctly. So that problem the sufferers will be facing. Okay, this is the first symptom. And the next one is there confusion with homophones. What are the homophones? Homophones are nothing but the words having the same pronunciation but different spelling and different meaning. You know very well here, there and there. Okay, let me give you the words here. There, there, and Their, there. So there. So right, right. Here, here. You know very well. Week, okay, week. 7 days a week. I am very weak. Here, can you hear me? Where are you? Where is my book? My book is here. Okay. Right. So all these words are called homophones. Homophones will have the same pronunciation but different spelling and different meaning. So such words are homophones. And but these students who are suffering from this disorder will find it very difficult in understanding the homophones. So that is that they have poor phonetic spelling and they have confusion with homophones. And you go to the next one, difficulty in translating spoken language into written form. So they find it very difficult in translating the spoken language into written form. So in this way, the sufferers of this disorder will be facing these three important problems, and therefore these three are called the symptoms of this disorder. Right. And now you move on to the next important disorder. 10th one, expressive language disorder. Okay, what is this expressive language disorder? So this disorder affects the ability to express thoughts and ideas through speech or writing. So people suffering from this expressive language disorder will have the problem in expressing thoughts and ideas through speech and writing. So that problem is there. They find it very difficult in expressing their thoughts, in expressing their ideas and through speech or through writing. So this is the main point about this disorder. And what are the symptoms of this disorder? Means individuals suffering from this disorder have what? So limited vocabulary, because they cannot express their ideas and their thoughts very freely and very efficiently and effectively, and therefore they suffer from limited vocabulary. So this is the first symptom of this disorder. Next, difficulty in framing or forming sentences. So the persons having this disorder will have the difficulty in framing or forming sentences. They cannot form the sentences correctly. They cannot frame the sentences correctly. And next, problems of incorrect use of grammar. So they also face the problem of using grammar correctly and all that. Another problem the sufferers of this disorder will face is struggles with storytelling and organizing thoughts. They find it very difficult in storytelling, one point, and they also find it very difficult in organizing thoughts, in keeping all the thoughts at one place in a sequential order and all that. So all these problems the persons who are suffering from this disorder will face. Therefore, these are called the symptoms of this disorder. Now, you move on to the next important disorder. 11th one, receptive language disorder. So this is also an important language related disorder. What is this language disorder? Let us look at that. This disorder affects the ability to understand and process spoken and written language. So this affects what? The ability of what? Understanding and processing the spoken and written language. So the sufferers of this disorder will have the problem in understanding and processing both the spoken and the written language. Okay, and what are the symptoms of this disorder? Individuals suffering from this disorder have what is that difficulty in following instructions. So they find it very difficult in following the instructions because they cannot understand the instructions given to them. That is the point. And next, problems with understanding questions. So they cannot answer the questions because they cannot understand the questions. If they understand the questions, they can answer those questions. Since they are not able to understand the questions themselves, automatically they are unable to answer those questions. So they face problems with understanding questions. And next, trouble in grasping the meaning of spoken or written words. So they also find difficulty in understanding the meaning of spoken or written words. So when something is spoken or when something is written on a piece of paper. Next symptom is trouble in grasping the meaning of spoken or written words. So the people suffering from this disorder will find it very difficult in grasping the meaning of spoken words and written words. So that is also there. And another important symptom of this disorder is difficulty in distinguishing similar sounding words. Already I have told you about the similar sounding words. Similar sounding words are nothing but the homophones. Okay, and right, same sound, right and right. So right means you are writing a letter, right means you are right. Okay, and sun is there, and sun means my elder son is in the USA, and sun means the sun rises in the east. So here there are so many similar sounding words which are all called homophones. Okay, you know that very well. So they will be unable to distinguish one word from the other. So that means they get confused with the homophones, similar sounding words, right? And these are all the problems the sufferers of this disorder will be facing, and therefore these are called what the symptoms of this disorder. Now you move on to the last language related disorder. 12th one, mixed receptive expressive language disorder. What is this disorder? This disorder impacts or affects the individual's expressive and receptive language. Expressive means you express your feelings, thoughts, ideas. Okay. Receptive means you receive the instructions, you receive so many things from others. Okay, through speech and through writing. So this disorder will affect individual's ability of expressing and receiving the language. Okay, right. And here you pay attention. Symptoms of this disorder are the individual suffering from this disorder will have what? Poor comprehension of spoken language. So they cannot understand the spoken language properly, and they suffer from understanding properly the spoken language. Okay, and difficulty in forming clear sentences. They also suffer from forming clear sentences or logical sentences or meaningful sentences. And here next thing is there limited vocabulary and poor grammar. And the people suffering from this disorder will have limited vocabulary with them, and also they will have poor grammar knowledge and all that. And you go to the next one, trouble with engaging in conversation, and they also find it very difficult in engaging in conversation with others. In this way, people suffering from this disorder will have all these problems, will face all these problems, and therefore these problems are only called the symptoms of this disorder. So with this the first part of the language related disorders will come to an end. Thank you so much for watching this video. Hello dear DSC candidates, thank you so much for watching this very interesting video. If you have any problem in understanding any of the things that I have dealt with in this video, please make a mention of it in the comment section. And with the second part of this video, and I shall be back to you. Until then, bye, see you all of you.